So the sun is actually shining today. It's been raining for I think 2 weeks straight. So I mean that's part of living in the Pacific Northwest. But because the sun's shining, I decided that I wanted to plant a few flowers. So I'll let you just join me as I plant just a few flowers. I've moved to a new place where I don't have a garden and everything will have to be grown in containers. But I work in the community garden, so I'll get enough gardening and food gardening and stuff. So I thought I'd just have you join me as I plant some flowers. So we've got a few forced daffodils and some pretty red and yellow tulips, and I have some primroses too. And this is just an old pot that I had. I don't even remember what I had growing in here, but I'm just going to take out the old roots and stuff. I'll probably keep growing and loosen up the soil. And this is a beautiful Talavera Mexican pottery pot that I just love. I collect the Talavera pottery. It's just so beautiful, bright colors and beautiful designs. I just love it. I also have some primroses that I think I want to add to this too. So let me grab those real quick. I don't want to pack this pot too tight, but I think these purple ones will go really good in there. I'll just deadhead them a little bit. Yeah, and they smell so wonderful. So I'll put those, and I'll save this one for another pot that I'll do on the other side of my steps. So just get these little primroses out and tickle those roots up a little bit so they'll spread out. Like that. And then I'm just going to put the daffodils closer to this end because these are the little tete-a-tetes, which are really tiny. They don't get very tall. And these I'm not going to break up a whole lot. I'm going to plant them a little bit deeper though. There we go. And then there's one that hasn't even started putting up its shoots, so hopefully that one will put up its shoots too. And then my little forced tulips. And that will be a beautiful combination and add some nice spring color to my new house. So that'll be nice. And see, there's sunshine growing, shining. Sunshine shining. So that's just a little bit more of extra sunshine. And I'm gonna have to figure out how to wash my hands before I touch my camera because I'm all dirty now. So thanks for joining me while I enjoy a little sunshine and plant a little garden. It turned out really pretty. Nice little pretty planter for the corner. I want to go through all my seeds, see what I have, and see what I'm missing. And then I also need to, I'm going to be at the local health fair, so we're going to be there tomorrow. All three of the community gardens here in Aberdeen. And so I'll have a poster, we'll have a table sharing all of our information so people can find out about us, because every day when I talk about the community gardens, I hear from somebody who says they didn't even know there were any community gardens in Aberdeen. So all 3 gardens will be there. I'll be there representing Cultivating Roots Community Garden, and we will have Liz from Randall Street Garden, and we will have Anita from the Southside Pollen Patch Community Garden. So all 3 of the Aberdeen gardens will be there, and it'd be really cool if we saw some other folks from other gardens. But it's just a health fair at the Shops at Riverside Mall in Aberdeen, and they do it every year, and it's a great way for us to get the word out about the gardens. And it doesn't cost us anything to get the word out, and it's a fun day. We get to meet all these other people, nonprofits and folks that are in the medical and healing fields, and we get to talk with them and share stories with them and stuff, and it's just a great event for the whole community. So I'll be making a trifold poster for that, so I'll be working on that today too. I'll probably just show you guys when I'm finished, or maybe some of the things that I'll be putting on my poster. I'll show you some of the steps for my seed starting. So that's some of the projects that I'm working on today. So it's kind of boring, kind of the little projects that you have to do for organizing the gardens and keeping the gardens going and getting the word out, and lots of different things that have to be done. It's January, mid-January, but there's still lots of things to do because you have to plan everything for your season. So that's what I'm in the midst of doing. So I'll share some more with you soon. See those smell really good. So they won't get really tall, but they smell really good. They smell like cloves and vanilla. It's always awesome. And then these sweet peas are definitely a variety that smells really, really good. And they'll be one of those flowers that we'll add to our cutting flowers that'll kind of drape over the side. And these are really cool. I like to let people know about these. These are wildflower seeds, but they're specific for our region of the Pacific Northwest. When people buy wildflower seeds, they're not always meant for the region that they live in, and a lot of times they can have plants in them that are nice in other places, but in some places they might be a noxious weed. So got a phone call that I had to take as I was beginning to sort these seeds. And while I was on the phone for my phone meeting, I couldn't sit still and started sorting all the seeds. So you'll see a lot of the seeds have already been sorted into this weird amount of piles. So basically I have them sorted so that I've got all my flower seed. So all the flower seed is in that bin there, and that's just regular flower seed, so not for my cutting flowers. I'm doing a new project this year where I'm gonna grow a bunch of cutting flowers for us to sell at the farmer's market. So I've got things like this beautiful flamingo celosia from Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds, a whole bunch of different kinds of zinnias, and I'm using the zinnias that get really big, that are known for being good cut flowers. Cosmos, a few perennials like liatris is a good upright plant that has a good base life. And then some lamb's ears are good foliage to add that are really beautiful. So this whole bin here is for cutting flowers. Then I have this whole bin, which is all corn and beans and other grains. And I don't grow a lot of corn in the community garden. Corn is one of those plants that needs a lot of space, but I collect heirloom corns and ones that are really rare, like this popcorn. And you can sometimes grow corn on a small scale, so so I might do a little bit of popcorn, but like regular corn is so inexpensive, I don't like to waste my garden space on corn that you can get at the grocery store. I guess one of the advantages of having corn is that you can be sure that it's organic. A lot of corn is not. Popcorn is. Popcorn is not. I mean, popcorn is not genetically modified. So popcorn is one of those plant species that you usually don't have to worry about. And, oh, excuse that pill bottle. I just called in my son's prescription. And now, so I have sorted all these seeds while I was on the phone in my meeting because I'm not really good at sitting still. So, so I'm almost done. But I have a lot of really cool seeds that I wanted to show you. And these are rare heirlooms that have been collected by Baker Creek Heirloom Seed and Seed Savers Exchange. I kind of collect unique and unusual things, like this garden huckleberry, which is not like the native huckleberry around here. It's more like in the Solanaceae family, so it's more like a tomato, and it's a huckleberry. It's an annual, so it's not perennial, so it's not going to keep coming back. And you can see kind of on the seed packet, the flowers kind of look like a potato or a tomato. And it's a nightshade, so it can be poisonous. So when you harvest the berries, you have to wait until they're completely black, and then you have to cook them for many hours before you can use them for jam and pie and things like that, because they have noxious stuff in it that is not good for your body. You can't handle. So it's an unusual ornamental, or, well, not ornamental, It's beautiful. It doesn't get really tall. It's more like a short, squat tomato size. I haven't got them to grow taller than like 3 feet, but they get covered in these beautiful berries. This is not something I would grow in the community garden because I would be worried about kids coming along and thinking they were just a berry that they could eat. So if you're growing things for a community garden, this is not a species for that. This is something for your private home garden where you know you can protect it from people that aren't aware of what it is, that might eat it and get sick. So it's kind of dangerous to grow stuff like this, but I'm kind of a plant nerd. I like to grow different things. And real huckleberries, the native huckleberries that are from different regions here in the Pacific Northwest, or actually all along the Northwest. So all the way up to Alaska, all the way down to I think they go all the way to Northern California. There's like 5 different species of huckleberry in this region where I live, on the Olympic Peninsula coast. And it's one of my favorite berries, and I love to go picking, and I even pick the leaves and use them for tea because the leaves actually have a berry flavor, and they have a lot of the same constituents that the berries do. So, and then another one that's very similar to that is this wonderberry or sunberry that you have to grow the same kind of thing with precautions. So these are things that I will grow like in a container just in my own garden. So that's another one of the unusual ones. I really love heirloom tomatoes, so I have quite a collection of heirloom tomato seeds. And I like to try to grow a new species that I haven't grown before every year, but one that I do grow every year, actually there's 2 of them that I grow every year. I always grow the Cherokee Purple. It's one of my favorite. And I'll grow the San Marzano Roma tomato because it makes the best canned tomatoes for tomato sauce or just canned tomatoes. I love growing this variety of tomato. This is the Zapotec, and there's a lot of stories about the Zapotec, but it's believed that this is the first tomato from, I think I want to try to say it right, from Oaxaca, Mexico, is where this heirloom came from. It's in the original indigenous species of tomato that all the other heirloom varieties originally came from. They went to different places and people did different things with the plants, and all these different varieties were developed. But this one, and it's beautiful. I love cutting it open, and it's got all these ridges, and it just looks really, really beautiful. Another one, I really like yellow tomatoes. I have a problem with the acid in the red tomatoes. So if you have that problem too, yellow and orange tomatoes don't have as much acid as the red tomatoes. So you should try some of those if you have that issue, like I do. This one, oh my gosh, isn't that gorgeous? Look at that color on that tomato. It's beautiful. It's known as the black pineapple from Belgium. So that one, and I'm not even gonna try to say that name. Well, maybe I'll say it. No, I won't say it because I'll say it wrong. So I'll just let you read it. And I'll just call it the black pineapple tomato from Belgium. But I like to try, that's gonna be a new one that I haven't grown yet. I'm gonna try this one. There's another one that looks really similar to this one that is really delicious, and that's the tie-dye, the Berkeley tie-dye. It looks a lot like this, and that one's called the Berkeley tie-dye because it's got all this wonderful color, and it's got those ridges on it like this one does, and it's more of a yellow, so it'll be lower in acid for me. Another really cool one that I have grown before, that I always like to grow as something unusual to sprinkle on your salad, is this strawberry spinach. So you can eat the leaves and the greens and they taste like spinach, but they create these little berries that are so delicious that you can put on your salad. So that's another unusual thing that I like to grow. And I always have peas because they're fixing that nitrogen in the soil. And this beautiful blue potted pea, I love these. They're so beautiful, and the flowers are like a violet color. So I always like to grow those. And then I ordered some really unusual, weird stuff that is like tropical from Southeast Asia and Central America and stuff that I'll try to start, and I'll grow them like houseplants. But there's a dwarf coffee plant, so I'm gonna try to see if I can grow some coffee. There's some herbal alternatives, like you could grow dandelion and harvest the root from that, or chicory. It has kind of, and then you roast it, and it has kind of a coffee flavor. But there's not anything that's really like coffee when you're a coffee addict, like most of America is. And so I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna see if it works, if I can grow coffee. Red Robin. Red Robin is such a cool tomato. Even if you don't have any space to grow outdoors, even if you don't have a porch, this tomato is a tomato that will live for 3 years indoors in a pot. I like to grow it in a terracotta pot, and it's a dwarf, tiny little tomato. The tomato plant, it stays small, and it just kind of folds over, and it stays compact, and it makes tomatoes that are like that size. So it's in the class of the cherry tomatoes, and it's just so fun to grow this tomato indoors as a house plant. Just needs a really sunny window. Gotta make sure you're fertilizing it right, and I'll share more about how to grow tomatoes and I'll talk more about this one then. But if you don't have access to outside, you can still grow tomatoes and put them in your salad. And it's awesome to pick tomatoes in the middle of winter and put them on your salad. It's just awesome. So this is one you want to try, Red Robin. Much better organized now. Just wanted to show you the final bins, all nice and organized. That one has all my corn, beans, and squash, cover crops. And then this one has all my melons, tomatoes, greens, brassicas, root vegetables, cucumbers, and even all the weird plants, because they're all kind of being planted at the same time. This one is all the seeds for the cutting garden, cutting flowers. And then these are all just regular perennial and annual flowers that are grown for other reasons. Some of them, there's some edible flowers in there too. And even some of my flowers that I've grown and saved and have for sale. The garden is looking pretty sad as it's in the midst of the throes of winter. But we're getting closer and closer to spring, and I can see new growth. So I came in today because even though the sun's not shining, it's not raining. So I'm gonna work on these 2 beds here. I took a before and then I'll take an after picture and share that with you in this video. But lots of work to be done in these gardens. So every day that it's not raining, I plan to come down and clear out 2 beds and do other work in the gardens. But you can see we really need a mower. The mower I got last year died. Just wasn't powerful enough. And we have wind damage and things blown over. Our artichokes are doing amazing, coming back. And we've got some cabbage and Swiss chard and lots of kale that we can still harvest in the garden right now. So I'll be doing a harvest this week and giving some to the Quinault Wellness Gardens and to the Feed the Hungry program here in Aberdeen. So it'll go right local to folks that need some food. And our collard greens, look at how amazing they totally made it through the winter. Need to be cleaned up a little bit. Be sure to like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.